How's it going, people? This is the Dip Commander. We're back here for another episode. Uh, Not much been going on. Just out here in Kentucky, doing what we do every day, trying to survive. Kind of noticed my head looks a little funny. Looks like an elf or something. I don't know. For some reason, my head looks like a mountain. It, like, grows up and weird. I don't know. I've just been experimenting with my hair, just trying to find the right tone. I mean, not the right. I was thinking about the lighting right here. I'm sorry. I've just been trying to find the right haircut for me. You know, the right military style haircut, and just haven't found it yet. So I just shaved the rest of it off. So I'm just gonna let it grow back a little bit, and then you'll see where it goes from there. See what we do. Uh, Fuck, man, it's been a long week. I've been dealing with drama and just family issues, and a whole lot of stress, and just a lot. It's a lot more than I can handle. But I always pull through it, because a lot of y'all know I'm strong-hearted. I'm a strong-hearted dude. Shall not fear no man but God as I walk through the valley of death. You know. But I'll tell you what, there is one thing uh that kind of helps me and helps me relax, just soothe everything away. That is getting in a nice warm shower, laying down, perfectly calm, listening to the water. There's any kind of water type area or scene, mainly just getting in a nice warm, kind of cool shower. Let the water run over you and putting in a big old dip of grizzly wintergreen. Y'all know this is my shit right here. I've been dipping grizzly wide cut this week. That came out everywhere. About maybe a month, a couple months ago or so. And I remember when I first tried grizzly wide cut, the can like on the rim here, it wasn't silver. It was green. It was like kind of a darkish green. It looked pretty cool. But now it's just like the silver rim again, and it just right here where it says long cut wintergreen, it says wide cut wintergreen in like a silver line, and says it on the can on the tin lid too, where long cut is right there. But yeah, Grizzly Wide Cut's new stuff came out, and Copenhagen Mint is already in California. Update you on that. Copenhagen Mint's coming out. Well, I don't think we've got it anywhere here yet. The Copenhagen Mint is coming out. Just look around your areas, and there's actually a new Grizzly that just came out, but I haven't found it. It's called Grizzly Premium Dark Wintergreen. And the whole rim is green. And there's a little line right here that's green too, and it's just I think the lid is kind of dark. I don't know what the paper on the side looks like, but I imagine it's kind of dark because it's called dark wintergreen. When I think about like a dark wintergreen, I kind of think about like a chocolatey taste. I don't know, kind of like a dark chocolate taste. Which I don't really know anybody that likes dark chocolate, but I mean, it's possible. That's just what I kind of think about it, but I don't know. But getting back to what's going on in my life and everything, just a stressful week, and Grizzlies. I always got this can here. This is with me all the time, every day. This helps me relax. It makes my brain get straight. It just kind of eases everything down. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Let's throw in a big old dip of this. Y'all get your cans out, pack them and rack them, whatever. I know I'm weird. Hold on. Ooh, I, these grizzly cans. I don't know how long I've been dipping grizzly for years now, but they always cut my thumb when I reach in to grab a dip. That part of my thumb right there gets cut on this plastic can. Mmm. Man. And that shit never gets old. Oh. That's one of the most best feelings in the world, is taking out a big pinch of grizzly and letting and just sliding it into your between your gum and your lip there. I just love that feeling so much. And it tastes so good. I know that there's been a lot of dippers that I know and that I've seen and watched on here. A lot of them that are just grizzly haters. Well, they're not really. They're just a lot of grizzly haters, but there's a lot of them that just don't like to dip it. It's called the Welfare Bear. What else not? Made by the American Snuff Company. But me, a few years ago when I started, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into this story since I ain't got nothing else to really talk about. But getting into this story, almost it's going on 3 years ago when I started. Grizzly was the first thing that I ever dipped. Grizzly, I remember it was a plastic can of Grizzly Wintergreen, before the warning labels. It was an old can too, but there was still somehow just like that magical little dip left in it. I pulled it out and put it in, and I just loved it, man. I fell in love with it. It was just the greatest taste, the greatest feeling ever. It was great. And then, a couple months, maybe 2 or 3 months go by, and I started dipping. That's when I really started. I started dipping Skull Peach. I dipped Skull Peach for a couple weeks. Then I started trying all the other Skull flavors. Remember, I went from Skull Peach to Skull Citrus. Whenever I dipped Skull Citrus, man, that was what I dipped for months and months. I mean, probably like 4 months straight. And in between them 4 months, I tried Skull Cherry and Skull Spearmint, and I tried the Skull Extra Rich Blend, Skull Extra Crisp Blend, and Skull Extra Mint, and the Skull Extra Wintergreen. Then after I tried the Skull Extra Wintergreen, I tried just the regular Skull Wintergreen, and no, it's a 4 month time period. I dipped Skull Citrus all the way through, but I got other cans and tried. That's what I'm saying. But just tried pretty much all the Skull flavors, and I remember Skull Berry was another one that I really liked. Uh, I dipped Skull Berry and Skull Citrus, Skull Cherry and Skull Apple probably the most out of anything. But then I remember I told my dad one day, I told him, get me a can of Skull Original Fine Cut Wintergreen. He said, alright, and the gas station dude gave him the wrong thing. He gave him a can of Copenhagen Wintergreen. He gave me the can. I was looking at it kind of funny because I never really heard of Copenhagen or nothing. But I got home and I remember I was in the car and I cracked it and opened the can and just smelt it, and it was just like candy, man. It smelled just like some kind of minty green candy. It smelled so good, and I knew kind of that from what I've heard from my buddy that Copenhagen was like the strongest fucking can of dip you can get. So I was thinking, I've never really dipped wintergreen a whole lot. I'm a fruity kind of guy dip. So I remember I got home and I took a little tiny pinch, put it in and just let it soak in for a little bit. Got the flavor, man. The flavor was awesome. Definitely at the time the best flavored dip I've ever had. And then as the day went on, I got a few bigger pinches and just kind of let my immune system build into it and just get used to the dipping it. And so I just started dipping Copenhagen Wintergreen for about 2 or 2.5 months. Then it was just from then on in for about a year and a half, just dipping Copenhagen wintergreen and just all the Skull flavors, mainly just Skull citrus. Uh, and then I remember just after doing all that, I had to move back home here to Graves County. So I remember I tried Skull Original Fine Cut and fell in love with that. So I dipped that, for a long time, and in between that I tried Wolf Wintergreen and Wolf Peach, and I tried Kodiak Wintergreen. I thought Kodiak was pretty good. I dipped that off and on now and then, and I dipped Red Seal Wintergreen, and I dipped Red Seal Fine Cut Wintergreen, and then I started, test out the Grizzly dip. So I got a can of Grizzly Wintergreen, dipped it. I liked it. But I wasn't really a Grizzly guy. I was really into Copenhagen. That's what I wanted to dip now. And I started to fade away from Skull. I just pretty much just quit dipping Skull entirely and just was just a straight Copenhagen. Dipped all the Copenhagens. Copenhagen Southern Blend, Copenhagen Wintergreen, and Copenhagen Straight was pretty much all that I dipped. And I tried Copenhagen Extra Long Cut Natural. But then I started dipping Grizzly, so I was thinking like, alright, well, if I'm gonna dip Grizzly, I'm gonna try all of them. So I tried Grizzly Wintergreen, then I tried Grizzly Straight and hated it. I remember I threw up when I dipped Grizzly Straight because it was just so nasty. And I tried Grizzly Mint. I dipped Grizzly Mint for a couple weeks. I remember I thought Grizzly Mint was pretty good. Then I tried Grizzly Extra Long Cut Natural. That was pretty good. Then I remember I tried Grizzly 1900 Long Cut, which that's like, the Copenhagen Long Cut, except it's Grizzly's version. I tried Grizzly Snuff, which is also like a type. It's like Copenhagen Snuff. Grizzly Snuff and Copenhagen Snuff, they're pretty good. They're two good tasting snuff dips. I like them a lot. Uh, but I, out of all of them, I thought that Grizzly Wintergreen was the best one. I liked it the most. So just for just a long time now, I just been dipping Grizzly Wintergreen every day. I just like it. There's a lot of people that hate it, haters on it. But out here where I live, that's pretty much what everyone dips is Grizzly Wintergreen. I don't dip it because that's what everybody else dips. I dip it because I like it. I just like the flavor. It makes me, gives you a good feeling. Just settles everything, makes everything smooth, helps me get through the day when I'm having a rough time. But yeah, it's definitely favorite dip right now. I'm just waiting for, some new dips to come out, so maybe, I can find the right one, but, as far as right now goes, Grizzlies, what I like. Alright, I just, giving y'all an update on everything, dip commander wise, trying to keep things straight, better things are coming in my future. There's a lot more greater things to come. And they're going to come. I'm just waiting. Trying to get through it. Because I know I got a strong mind. And it all gets whacked up sometimes because of, everything that's happened to me in the past and everything that I've done. It's just, I've only been here on this earth for over 15 years, getting pretty close to 16 years, but that's long enough to go through some serious shit. That's long enough to do some serious things. That's long enough to do some really bad things. But as far as now goes, I've got more knowledge than I've ever had, and I keep learning every day, and I keep teaching the people that I really love and care about all the knowledge I have so that they won't fail. Y'all know it's one of my life goals to take as many people as I can and, get it in their mind that this is the way you need to go. This is what you got to do. This is what you have to do if you want to survive on this earth and be successful. Which, getting into that, there's a lot of problems that I have with this earth. But the main problem and the main issue that I see every day and hate with all of my heart is this thing called alcohol. Alcohol is, to me, the worst thing you can ever do. Alcohol, marijuana, the two most leading things that lead to every other drug on the planet. And I'm going to explain it, because I feel that, if you watch this video and you understand what I'm having to say, that I'm hoping that it will change your perspective on things. My dad has been an alcoholic since he was discharged from the Army, like a long time ago. My dad, he can't get his driver's license back. He can't take me hunting. One of the things I love to do is go hunting. I have to go hunting by myself because he can't take me. He can't own a gun. He can never have a gun in his life ever again. He doesn't want to go get his license because he knows that he's just going to get drunk again and get him taken away and go back to jail. All because he drank alcohol. I've had to ride around with people that are really drunk and, just have the fear that, we're going to crash. Because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. If you drink alcohol, I just think it's just straight pathetic because you get really stupid and you start acting different, You start waddling around, you start acting like an idiot, you say things that, you know is going to hurt people, but you just don't care because you're so numb. You just don't know. Alcohol ruins lives. You can get really drunk right one night, some night, and do something really stupid that's gonna mess your whole life up. Now, what if you get really drunk one night, and, you start playing around with a gun or something, you accidentally kill your little baby? What if you just had a newborn baby and you get really wasted and drunk and get really high or something like that? You go in there and you start playing around with your 12 gauge and you blow your little baby's head off. You know why you would do that? Because you were drunk and high. And you're a pathetic motherfucker. True story. I've seen it happen. I've seen a lot of shit that would scar people for the rest of their lives. With me, I'm already scarred so much that there's nothing left in this world that can scar me. And it's all because of alcohol and marijuana and what it does to people. You look behind my eyes and you'll see death. You'll see just a black place. You'll see a black place that is, as close to hell as can be on earth. And behind all that is pain. And it's pain because you've seen the people that have suffered because of alcohol and marijuana. You feel their pain. You know what they go through every day. You've seen what has happened because of it. I've seen it. When you look death in its eyes, you won't never be able to look back. It stays locked in you forever. It never goes away. You always remember it. You see the pain. You feel the pain. It runs down through you in your eyes. You turn black inside. But me, I got lucky. I was able to overcome all of it. God gave me the strength to overcome anything that I've ever been through, everything that I've ever seen. Alcohol and marijuana will ruin your life. All that leads to every other drug on the planet there is. Let's say you're a husband. You got a wife and you got a kid. You get real drunk one night, you start slapping your wife around, you start, kicking the shit out of your kid. You start beating on your wife and kids. That's a wrong road to take. You need to be shot in the skull if you do that. you abuse your wife and you abuse your kid, you have no personal right to be called a human on this earth. But for some reason, God put you on this earth, and I don't think He put you there so that you can drink alcohol and abuse your family. I've seen it happen. I've witnessed it. I've lived in it. You don't believe me? Take a trip inside here and see what all I've been through. See what all I've seen. So I've made it my personal goal to save as many people and just stop as many bad things as I've seen from happening again, making history repeat itself. Think. God gave you this mind so you can think and use it wisely. You don't believe me? Go ask any other person that's been abused and beaten their whole life and raped and abused. They'll tell you. Remember that episode of Dr. Phil? You probably didn't see it. But it was this kid. And his father was a bad alcoholic and he did a lot of drugs. And he locked his kid in a closet and forced the kid to eat his own feces. Now the kid would have to shit in the same room that he's living in, locked in a closet, and have to eat his own shit because his father forced him to. Drink his own pee for months. Now how bad could that be? All because his father was an alcoholic. Yeah, that's America for you. So go ahead, take another drink. Take another drink. Take another toke of weed. Do it. You're a failure. You're a downright to this earth failure if you do that. This is my opinion. It's my opinion, and it's my opinion. I speak for all the other people that have been through this. You gotta get serious sometimes. I keep all this locked into my brain. Okay? But this is where I'm letting it out so that everybody else in the world can hear it and see it. I hope that everything I've had to say will be helpful to y'all. And I hope that, if you are alcoholic or a drug addict, maybe you can turn your life around and do something with your life. That's about it for me. I'll catch y'all next time. And until then, keep dipping.